Hello there. This is Cindy at cindybeautydesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. That is my sample card that I have for you with more pictures on the blog. That is what we'll be making today. It's a very easy sketch with great DSP, and I've been focused on pressed petals this week. And that's an entire suite. I have videos on the blog all throughout this week if you want to go back through and check them. That is the card that I built, the one that we'll be making today off of it, and I really love that one on the left hand side. So Path of Petals is a stamp set in pressed petals, and I incorporated in Meant to Be and the coordinating die cuts that go along with that. That has that scallop edge I use a lot. But back to this suite, I can't say it's fabulous. I love it. And just wait till we start to work a little bit more with this a little bit. So I have dimensions and everything on my blog, and I did some pre-cutting here because we're doing the envelope and the inside of the card as well. So I'm putting down that little scallop trim die through a Mossy Meadow and Pear Pizzazz piece of DSP. It has like a newsprint on it, which is really cool about this suite because I'm a big fan of newsprint and script, and they're both in here. So I'm pulling in a floral heart from Meant to Be, and we're going to heat emboss this. And I'm laying down the embossing buddy on top of some very vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to ink it up with some Versamark ink. I'm going to lay it down twice just in case I make a mistake, because that's always entirely possible. And if not, then I just go ahead and put it in my stamp case with everything else to use again another time. And I'm going to build the card from the bottom up pretty much. And I'm going to put on some gold embossing powder. I keep it in those Rubbermaids, and I get those little spoons and put a command hook on top of the lid, or I just pretty much scoop it up without going through all that, and it works. You want to tap it off, don't flick it off with your finger. That is our heat tool. There's two settings. The first setting is to dry ink, the second setting is to heat set, and you want to let it warm up and keep it moving all the time. It minimizes the warping, and you see me tilting my paper, and I do that a lot because I'm checking it in the sun to make sure that I got everything. Because weather, I'm in the Midwest, and yeah, it's been fun lately. I took the Swiffer cloth to clean off any powder from my embossing buddy, and just to shine up the hearts a little bit. I'm going to bring back in the Big Shot and then die cut it out. If this is a new purchase to you, the Meant to Be, you're going to get our new style dies. I got this during I forgot the name of that catalog. And I should know, we do it every year, the spring. So I die cut that out. And I have one of our ink cubes that I've inked up with some crumb cake and Sahara sand and just mixed it, and I use that to, I call it dirtying up my cardstock, distressing it, or adding some vintage to the edge. And I just kind of popped it around randomly there a little bit. And now I'm going to put down that newsprint strip that we put the scallop edges in. And this washi tape is actually from a suite I featured a couple weeks ago. It starts with Art, and that is crushed curry, whereas Daffodil Delight is a color in this product suite. But the crushed curry, you can see with the stripes, it just kind of pops it a little bit. And Daffodil Delight is a lighter color of crushed curry, so it worked. And I was kind of hesitant about using it, and that's why I just kind of laid it out a little bit to sample it. And our washi tape is very good. and it'll go down and it will stay down. But I was originally going to use the brown print washi tape I had on the other card, and I thought, we're getting too brown here a little bit. And that was in the drawer next to it, and I thought, well, why not? And it worked out. So don't be afraid to try something or experiment like that. I'm putting down the 1-inch wide strip of the floral DSP from the press Petals specialty designer series paper, and that paper is light. Now with this piece here, it is 3/4 of an inch thick, and I want to put banner ends on that. You could use your scissors, but I just do this. And what I did was flip it over and I measured it in half, and that is basically going to be 5/16 of an inch. And for those of you who are a little bit math challenged, that's 1 line over the 1/4 inch. That's 5/16. And so I lined up the point in the punch right on top of my pencil line and just punch it out, and the corners of the cardstock with just the edges of the punches you saw me do there. If you hear noises, it's Puppy, because she's hearing me talking and is going to start to whine. I'm going to put 3 large Stampin' Dimensionals, or regular size, on the back, and I'm going to pull in some linen thread instead of the rose thread, because I do have some metallic on this card of the embossed heart and some elements I'll be putting on from a paper pumpkin kit towards the end. And I thought that might be a little bit too much for this type of card, because it is a sympathy card, and it's one that's going to appeal to pretty much everybody, because there's feminine aspects in there and masculine ones. So I lined up my sentiment. I'm going to put that down in soft suede. Our card base was soft suede because I was too busy talking about something else. And just give that a nice press. You can always put clear embossing powder over that if you want to shine it up a little bit, but I didn't. This is going to be the inside of our card. And I did dirty up the inside a little bit off screen, and we're going to be taking another piece of the floral DSP. It's on the front in the 1-inch strip, and put it down at the bottom. And it's just a really quick way to use up your scraps, and that way nothing goes to waste. And you can see I'm always incorporating my Stamparatus into my work just to make sure everything is lined up. So I have that down, and I'm snipping off the ends. And now I'm going to adhere to the inside. And I do, this time of year, I do put adhesive on it, just it's humid. And there is the inside of our card. When you do envelopes, you see how I put the adhesive on it? That strip of cardstock to cover the flap, cardstock or DSP, that you want that to measure 2.5 by 6 inches. And again, I'm bringing in that Stamparatus, and it works. It just makes it so much easier. You're going to see me use like 3 or 4 different pairs of scissors in here. I have a couple of them. This to me is just easier to cut the excess off, so there's not a lot of waste involved there. And those were the ones that cut my thumb 6 months ago that I still don't feel. So now I'm going to put some snail on the back of the card, or the image panel. That's what I call the image panel. And I'm going to line that up top to bottom, left to right, center it up. Sorry, I didn't turn this off. I had to sneak away real quick just to tell Puppy to shh. Okay, I'm taking the dimensionals off the back of the heart, and I have some linen thread, and I tie it up on those spools there. Just, it's easier. And I wrapped it around 4 times, and then I decided to go to 2 because it's twice as thick as the thread, and it's a lot more dense. And I'm using the dimensionals on the back of the heart to secure it for me, and then I'll sneak in glue dots underneath the heart, 1 or 2, just to keep it all there. So that is how I did that. I am pulling in 2 gold hearts that you'll see, and I got these from Paper Pumpkin, which I will be featuring next week, and I have a ton of those, and that is within the past year. And this is going to be random because I had to stop and spend time with Puppy. I think I was talking about those metallic gold hearts from a Paper Pumpkin kit, and how everything I use on my cards and projects is always current, and something that you can subscribe to, which is Paper Pumpkin. The refill kits you can pick up at any time, but you won't have the stamp set. So that was our card today. And there is the envelope that we did. Fairy Vanilla is on the right, Whisper White is on the left. I love the left card because I like the regal colors like that a lot. And the right is just a good sympathy card, but you can just do so much with the DSP. But I want to thank you for joining me today. God bless. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and leave a comment for a gift certificate from Stampin' Up! $25. And thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. I will see you next week.